This is a little bit hard because I understand that I have a particular bias to this, and that is that I tend to have a very good palette for where technology is shifting towards. To give a specific example, about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago at this point, I actually pitched the Sheets team on beginning to move towards doing WebAssembly in terms of our backend infrastructure, just as an example. And it got rejected outright. People said, no, we're not going to do this. Here's all the reasons. I said, fine. And then we did some experimentation. We did a little bit of a prototype. Didn't quite work out. But then we kept at it a little bit more as a side project. And eventually it became essentially our main line of work. But I had that foresight. And at the time, everybody sort of looked at me like I was crazy. Like that was literally the reaction. Like, what are you talking about? This is not going to happen, right? It was two reasons. Number one, engineering managers at Google typically are not the ones who are pushing the new technologies. And number two, this is like way before the technology was ready. WebAssembly was not ready at all 4 years ago. And now it's in a much better state. So how did I get there? Well, I spent a fair amount of time just constantly reading. So I carve out time every single week. It's sometimes on Sunday, sometimes on Monday mornings. But I'm trying to stay in terms of like what are the trends in the industry? What's happening? What are people talking about? And you're just sort of reading and reading and reading a lot. I think Warren Buffett put it this way: is that the best way to learn is essentially just to read. And he describes his job as most of the time he's just sitting there reading. And I think the same thing is true for engineers. You want to spend as much time as you can reading and sort of figure out what's happening in the industry. And then you sort of begin to form a pattern. Oh, these people are talking about WebAssembly. It seems to be solving this problem. Or these people are talking about Angular and it solves that other problem. Or they're talking about Vue or whatever the next thing that's on the front end. And you sort of begin to form that picture. And then you begin to understand that there's a problem we can solve, or there's some narrative we can do. And you sort of maybe experiment a little bit, maybe prototype something on the side, maybe do that, and then you go from there. That's on the technology side. On the product side, if you have a good product, if you have a product that has adoption, it's actually not hard. Just listen to your users. All you have to do, and this is amazing, I find this is incredible, you're going to get feedbacks from your users on a constant, ongoing basis. They're going to tell you, what they don't like, what they like, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. Listen to them, talk to them, get on a call with them and discuss it and be candid. And what you're going to find is incredible. You're not going to need more than 5 calls. I guarantee you more than 5 calls is enough. You're going to get a pattern of the things that they're complaining about. And you would be amazed at how many product managers don't do that. It blows my mind. Like I often tell product managers, what's the first thing you should do in a new team? Get on a call with the customer. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. I was like, why not? Well, we don't need them. We know what their roadmap is. I'm like, no, get on a call with a customer, talk to them, hear what they're complaining about. And if you're an engineer, do that. As uncomfortable as it may be, as uncomfortable as you think, hey, I'm just an engineer. Who am I to do this? I'm an introvert. It makes me feel uncomfortable. You got to get out of your box. You got to go talk to the customers. They're the users. They're going to tell you what the problem is. 5 calls is all it's going to take for you to get to a place where you form that picture of what their problem is, turn around, package it up nicely, present it to the product management, ship it, right? And yeah, they may not agree. They may have other reasons, considerations, but you'll at least have the data points and the thing to do. And so that's where you begin to craft that future line.
If you enjoyed this clip, make sure you watch the entire video, which has a lot more content just like this. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of our episodes where we talk to leaders in the tech industry, from software engineers to product managers to engineering managers, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and also click the notification bell. And that's all the time we have for this week. I'll catch you guys on the next episode.